I really try not to talk about this dude. I actively avoid talking about this dude because his face, his name, and everything he claims to stand for just triggers me on a personal level. I think everybody has certain things that just get to them way beyond what is, like, rationally worth getting that angry about. And for me, just everything about Grummz and his aesthetic, especially his stupid little, like, what is it, chibi style profile picture, just sends my blood into a boiling rage. It just gets at me, you know, it gets to me. And because of that, I find myself on the edge of crashing out every time I talk about Grummz, and thus try to avoid talking about Grummz because it makes me unhappy. But recently I have been getting blown up to talk about this video called the Gunnar Namicon Grummz Part 1, a video that has gone so viral over the day that it has existed, that it has amassed over 250,000 views on a channel that has less than 7,000 subscribers, mind you. That is a massive overperforming video, which really goes to show how good the video must be, I guess. I have not seen even a moment of it, but people really want me to watch it on stream. Now it's 38 minutes, and even if it was shorter, I wouldn't watch the whole thing on stream, but we are going to watch a good bit of it, and I'm going to give my thoughts on what we see and what we get, you know? Someone in chat asked, who the fuck is Grummz? I'll be getting into that in just a moment, but before I do, I want to ask you guys, whether you're watching live right now when you're in chat, or you're watching this after the fact when it goes up as a video on YouTube, comment down below what game or media franchise that you're a big fan of did Grummz attack that made you feel like, no, dude, not this one. Not this one. For me, it was Final Fantasy XIV. He tried to go after Final Fantasy XIV, and I was like, no, bro. No, not this game. Warhammer, Hades, Sonic, Monster Hunter. I'm curious to see what people comment when this video goes out as well, because everybody's got a franchise where they're like, no, bro, don't you fucking attack my franchise with your bullshit, you know? For Balth, it's Dragon Age. Good to see you, by the way, Balth. Anyway, for those that aren't aware, Grummz is kind of the most... If you took every stereotype imaginable about a right-wing grifter and combined them into a single person, a living, breathing person, you would get Grummz. Now, to be fair, he does have some level of resume. He worked at Blizzard for some time and did have a part to play in some of the most beloved projects in the company's history. How big of a part he had to play, if even a good one, is very questionable when you consider a lot of Blizzard and ex-Blizzard employees have told horror stories about working with him. But nowadays, he makes his living off of A, scamming people, off of his, well over a decade now, unfinished indie game he's supposedly making, and charging for, like, supporter packs. He's charging thousands of dollars for, like, supporter packs for the game. It's actually insane. And then his main line of income, I'm sure, is his rapid-fire posting of bullshit on Twitter, complaining about how every inclusion of minorities in a new game is woke, how every new franchise that fans have decided is getting worse is worse because it is woke, and he just kind of spouts nonsense all day. He's also, for the most part, just repeating conspiracy theories he's heard on 4chan and reporting them as, like, relevant news. Like actual news, verified. Balth posted a link and said, relevant Grummz meme. Yandere dev realizing he's no longer the shittiest game dev out there since he somehow puts more effort into his game than Grummz. True. True. All that aside, though, he's a little contemptible maggot, alright? That's all you need to know. So, that aside, let's hop into this video. We're not going to watch all of it, obviously, and I highly encourage you go down to the description below and click the original video's link I'll have down there for you guys, so you can go leave a comment, a like, and a view on the original video. Maybe even subscribe if you want to see more of their content. I highly recommend it. But first, let's get right into it. Enough putting it off, enough messing around. Let's do it. Gunanomicon, Grummz, Part 1.
One of the leading thought lords of the reactionary right wing is more of a freak than you, I, we, anyone could actually imagine. This all comes with receipts, this is all grounded in facts, this is all quite legally safe for me to talk about, this is all public record. I'm getting this out of the way quickly because I know the person I'm going to be talking about is the kind of person to scream that he's being doxxed, cancelled, and threaten lawyers. This all started from a historic data breach.
That's so funny because literally today, actually, I think I can bring this up in like a second. It's super fast. I know, we're already pausing. I'm already pause-andying, but hold on. I was on Twitter right before stream, and I liked the tweet. I know for a fact I did. I can bring this up in like a second. Here it is. So Opera GX tweeted this out. We're currently developing a feature that'll remove any trace of Grummz from the web, and it just redacts all of his social media on all platforms. That's pretty hilarious. Someone replied, trying to call the FBI through Twitter on the Opera GX account for, and I quote, targeting Grummz. Like, literally added Donald Trump and, what's his name? Kash Patel, or no, it's not Kash Patel that runs, is it Kash Patel that runs the FBI now, or is that, I thought it was Tulsi that's director of the FBI now. Or is she CIA now? No, but no, Department of Justice might be, what, Kash Patel's in charge of. Tulsi is, all right, I'm mixing it up. It is Kash Patel? Okay. Regardless. Unimportant. He is FBI? Okay, cool. Yeah, just like, I think he added Kash Patel and Donald Trump, trying to get them to arrest, or I guess shut down Opera GX for targeting Grummz. Yeah, his community is unhinged. Like, they're, I don't know how else to describe it. If you've ever seen the comments section of a cat turd tweet, they're like that. It's these, like, weirdly hypersensitive conservatives who are, like, they get very blatantly offended. Not like triggered or offended in the way conservatives normally do, but, like, actively, clearly offended and not afraid to hide it whenever they see something they think is woke. Like, it's really weird. They're not trying to come off as cool. They're trying to come off as, like, victims. And it's really, really pathetic.
Which isn't actually, like, quite a safe way to get into this, but when I corroborated it with other sources, I found out that this was just sitting out in the open for anyone to find who knew exactly where to look for a name, a registered company. And then you start pulling on a string and pulling on another string and another string, and you find out that this goes deeper than you would think. Don't worry, Mark. I'm not going to show any more than I have to. You and your family will not be identified. This is not doxing in a meaningful sense that you're going to talk about. This is just you and me having a conversation. Everyone else is along for the ride. By the way, don't reuse passwords for shit like this, especially if you're trying to make two separate personas with different names.
Oh shit,
that you're going
did
to
he
laugh
hack
as for
him?
20 plus years. If you're a 40-year-old man at the time and 60-plus-year-old now, you've done that. I can establish that. But don't. That's an advice for anyone else looking to start up a separate online persona in the future. Use a completely separate email with a completely separate password. It might actually prevent this. Don't use the same lawyers either, actually. The same lawyers to register your company. There's so many steps that this guy has failed at to protect himself, and it's just all come unraveled with publicly accessible information. Also, don't use your...
I love how so much of the stuff needed to attack the validity of these right-wing grifters is out there in the public, you know? Like, if you want to humiliate the quartering off the internet, you could just spam the video of him, like, pissing in his basement or talking about his cuck fantasy with Gina Carano on every corner of the internet nonstop for a month. If like, a group of a few hundred people just spammed that video of his cuck fantasy about Gina Carano in every one of his replies on Twitter, every one of his, like, friends' replies on Twitter, and just, like, referenced it all the time in the comment sections of all his videos and all of his, like, live streams and stuff, they could probably humiliate the quartering off of the internet. And this isn't some, like, hidden thing that needs to, like, be discovered and then it's going to cancel him. It's just a thing out there right now. I could bring up the video right now of him like going into this in-depth cuck fantasy story about him and Gina Carano where he gets cucked and Gina Carano fucks some other dude, but he's into it. It's really bizarre. So, like, it's not surprising to me in the slightest that all the stuff that we're about to hear about Grummz, no matter how amazingly surprising it ends up being to many of us, I'm not surprised that most of this stuff was just out there. Like, just a Google search away.
A real name to register these emails. Your real name's out there on this historical Who Is information. When you update this information, it doesn't go away. It's there. It's stored. The internet never forgets is the phrase I summarize up a lot. The internet never forgets. The internet will never let go. The internet remembers everything that you have done, everything that you've purchased, everything that you have registered. Somewhere deep down until that drive stops spinning, the internet will know, and now we have found it. Some of this, like, disgusting onanist defenders are going to immediately reject the video based on how many subscribers and followers I have, and I don't care. I am a podcaster. I have a normal job. Consider getting one of those before you start trying to swing at me. Most of you are on Twitter for 15 hours a day arguing over whether Yasuke is too woke. Statistically, you don't know me. I know this, you know this, we know this. By the time this finishes, you're going to know me, and that's fine. It's nice to meet you. My name's MLYP. Pause the video, grab a drink. We're going to be here for a while. I want you walking away from this video bemused at the idea that there's a 60-year-old man out there who has a maid outfit wearing VTuber as his public-facing persona, who abuses his parents' goodwill to front up LLC companies so that he can avoid California taxation law, while also trying to...
Damn. Isn't Grummz like 60 though? Are said parents alive? I don't know. We got to hear all the details, okay? We got to hear all the details.
Drive gamer culture further to the right because he thinks things are just a little too woke for him these days, and his little 60-year-old brain can't handle it. There's a reason I'm showing my face on camera today. There's a reason that I'm not hiding behind an avatar like I normally do. I am better than him. This is just one of the ways. I'm better than him in every way that fucking matters, to be honest, like on a moral level.
Okay, I think that's what it is about Grummz's avatar that triggers the fuck out of me. It's that he's a 57-year-old man with a chibi avatar. There's just a certain point, like a certain age, like call it ageist if you will, I don't care, where if you have a chibi avatar, it's just kind of weird and a little bit enraging. Grummz PFP. Let me see if I can find his stupid little... Yeah, here it is. This is how a 57-year-old man presents himself on the internet. Also, I think it's worth pointing out. I want to point it out, okay? Trans Daughter of Water was smart to post that emote there. Doesn't this, like, mouth shape and the eyes, doesn't it, like, remind you of the pedo bear? Like, it's literally the eyes and the mouth is pedo bear. I wonder if that was intentional. Well, nah. No, I see it. And a lot of people in chat seem to see it as well. Don't just say you see it because you hate Grummz, but, like, you see it too, right? I don't know. It's just something about a 57-year-old man having this as his PFP just drives a rage stake into my heart. And then, of course, he's got this. His little maid outfit VTube avatar, which is, like, I don't know, a 57-year-old, like, neckbeard chud trying to cutesify himself is just a level of ick that I can't handle, man. It's partially why I just can't stand talking about this guy. I don't do a lot of segments talking about him, despite him being such low-hanging fruit and great content to talk about, because it just, it gets me on a personal level. I hate this dude.
A conceptual level, on a how I earn my money level, I am better than this man. And I don't care that you think otherwise. I know this in my belief system and his. I am better. I am going to keep saying that this is very findable information. I am going to keep saying that this is all legally accessible information. This is not being doxxed. This is not being cancelled. I'm going to address that again and again just to hammer the point home, because the target of this video is going to come with lawyers, or this target of this video is going to come and try and whip up a screaming mob that he's been cancelled and send a harassment campaign my way and other people's way. This is part of what he does. None of this is secret information that you are legally allowed privacy over. This is part of public California state record. I will not be revealing addresses, I will not be revealing full emails. I can assure you they match, Mark. You are just going to have to trust me. You know it, I know it, and everyone else will know it. The fact that you're out there deleting things rapidly when you got a hint that people knew about this kind of proves that it's you, and...
That is true. Grummz has been on a, like, massive deleting spree for, like, a year now. People have just been finding old forums and stuff that he used to post on, whereas all his stuff has been deleted off of it, everything he used to post, but people could find it on Wayback Machine. So he's got a shady history online that he's actively running, like, a campaign to cover up.
That's what actually matters deep down. In your bones, you know what's about to come out. These same emails that I'm referring to that were in that data breach earlier have been publicly posted by you in multiple places across multiple Whois records. Listen, that's a key and public-facing part of internet structure. That is not doxing. That is all right here when you check DNS and Whois records. That will never go away. That is part of what you have put out into the internet. If I type your name...
I get why he's doing all the warnings here, but at the same time, if Grummz wanted to sue, he could just sue no matter what. Like, you can just sue anyone for anything. Whether or not you'll win is a whole different scenario. But, like, if Grummz were to sue, he would not do so under the genuine belief that he has a, like, valid reason to do so. He would be doing it as an attempt at intimidation and silencing you regardless. So, like, he might be wasting his breath with how much he's emphasizing that nothing... Then again, maybe the video could end up in court if he does sue, and that's why he's emphasizing it so much. That could be smart as well. The video is kind of quiet. I guess that's better than the video being louder than me, I suppose, because usually that's the case. Let me know if it's if the audio is better, worse, if it needs to be adjusted. By the way, chat, I appreciate it. You guys are my audio testers.
Into a specific search engine, I can see exactly what websites you've registered going all the way back to about 1996. There is very public LLC information with your family's name, and I'll get to why it's your family's name and not yours on these LLCs in due time. I haven't stolen any private information. I have not illegally accessed any information.
What's so crazy about this is Grummz is such a boomer that he was on, like, that old internet, you know, that ancient-ass internet. And so he's got, like you can imagine, I like to think about how all these, like, Minecraft YouTubers are, like, 22, 23 years old, and they're, like, they freak out because some video clip of them saying, like, the F-slur or something when they were 16 leaks online, and it's like, damn, these kids had, like, 8 years of internet access before they became internet's famous, and somehow, in that 8 years, they managed to do something that would, like, cancel the fuck out of them, and it was, like, recorded somewhere such that it could come back to bite them. But then you think about someone like Grummz, and it's like, Grummz has decades on decades of internet history online, on forums, making posts places, probably obviously we're going to be getting into stuff having to do with, like, registering companies now. So this dude's got, like, a paper trail that probably spans decades just online alone. And then there's probably stuff to talk about pre-internet. Grummz is, like, nearly 60. He had a life before the internet. So that might be relevant too.
Information. This is a case of finding one little string of public information you have left out, and now the whole fucking house of cards is coming down on you. You are welcome to scream at doxing. I will say this once again. This is publicly accessible information that you have posted on the internet and have left it out there for me to talk about. I'm leaning in to make a point, because I want you odious little goblin of a man, to really beat this into your thick skull. This is the digital equivalent of a phone book.
He is such an odious
this is the digital
goblin.
equivalent of
I
picking
love
up the
that.
Yellow Pages, which you are old enough to distinctly...
That's so good. He is an odious goblin. Oh, that's great. I need to, like, save that one in my insult book. Odious Goblin.
Remember, I know that you're 60 plus years old, and noticing that two separate people have the exact same phone number and going, wonder what that's about. Asking around and realizing that those two people are the same person. They've just got two names for some reason. I wonder why that is. I really want you to understand that we know. You've gone around to try and delete everything. You are rapidly deleting every public piece of this persona. It's been archived. We've got it saved. You're good. This video will be going up in places other than YouTube. I am under no illusions
got a little
that
serious
you're not
there
trying to
for a
take me down
minute.
through some kind of spurious DMCA
I love the shadowy effect that gave. That went hard as hell.
claim or something similar. The internet will never forget. It will be elsewhere. It will be publicly disseminated. People will know. I've also consulted with a lawyer. We're good. We're in the clear, legally. Why don't I just get to the point instead of being cryptic? Now I have to sit back, because Mark Kern, aka Grummz, has been coasting on the success of his one or two actual highlights of his career. The rest is a sad tale of an old man desperately clinging to relevance. He's worked as an associate producer on StarCraft, the producer on Diablo 2, and was a team lead in World of Warcraft. I'm not going to dispute or deny the fact that he worked on these titles. That's documented, he's in the credits. I find it fascinating that he's barely ever mentioned by former co-workers in a positive light, and that's fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating to think about. Since leaving Blizzard, he has been coasting on that success.
I could have sworn I heard something about Blizzard employees saying that Mark Kern, aka Grummz, that's his real name, I swear I heard something about them saying that Grummz was one of the first people at Blizzard to hardcore push for World of Warcraft way back in vanilla to start incorporating real money purchase items in game, like store mounts and stuff. Like, the idea of store mounts was supposedly, like, one of the first people to float that idea around was him, way back in vanilla. Now, I don't know if that's true. That would be like that would be like him eating the forbidden fruit and unleashing evil upon the world of World of Warcraft, the World of Warcraft, I guess, if true. And so it's a very, like, you know, convenient story if you don't like Grummz, but I don't know if it's actually real. Yeah, he opened Pandora's box, exactly. At least in this telling that I've heard, but I don't know if that's actually real.
And to build clout in the reactionary online space, joining Gamergate 1 before leaving because he was too transphobic at the time. He continued coasting off the back of this and used the petition to bring classic WoW back and use that to leverage it into even more clout. That's another one of his big career highlights. He organizes harassment campaigns.
He jumps on every single bandwagon the internet gets on, and that's one that he actually was close to. For those that don't know, there was, like, online protests for years to get Blizzard to actually do classic WoW, and Grummz jumped on that bandwagon, and I guess Blizzard, when they actually did it, I have no doubt Grummz was like, "We won!" and tried to, like, do that weird thing he does where it's like, were we deceived? Were we misled? I think is the tweet.
Against developers that he thinks are doing things a little too wokely, and by a little too wokely, I mean doing it while being too much of a woman or being maybe too brown for his tastes. I keep saying he's coasting, and he's fucking coasting. Our boy Mark Edward Kern has been nothing but a failure since leaving Blizzard Entertainment in 2005, reduced to tweeting 100 times a day that Assassin's Creed Shadows is too woke because they've taken a historical figure and embellished certain portions of their life in a game that's never been about historical accuracy to begin with. He keeps saying that he's winning the war on the woke mind virus, and this is the year that we will actually defeat wokeness in video games. All the while, he's just eating his meat over Eve from Stellar Blade. He's never actually played Stellar Blade, by the way. Before you try and chime in about Assassin's Creed, by the way, your parents don't
Wait, he's never actually played it? After all of his worship of the game, he never actually played it? He just goons? Oh, is this YouTuber a New Zealander? Is he from New Zealand? Hell yeah. Arnar. You guys in New Zealand, you do say Arnar. You do. Don't deny that you say that. You say Arnar.
Of you. It's a genuinely fun and interesting fact that since leaving Blizzard, Mark Kern has never released a successful game. In 2005, he co-founded a studio called Red 5 with 3 other former Blizzard employees. He played a significant role in that development and was made CEO in 2008. If you know anything about Mark, if you've heard of like a little bit of him before, you will understand that he has allegations of overspending in promotional campaigns for Firefall. You've heard of the Firefall bus? That was made by West Coast Customs. You know what West Coast Customs is. You've been online.
Has he, he's talking right now about how he like bought a bus with the Firefall logo on it, which is an indie game he never actually like made, but he took a bunch of money to make. He bought a bus that has the logo on it to advertise. And I don't mean he bought like an ad space on a public bus. I mean he bought a bus and then had the ad put on there, so he owns that bus. He has that bus, and it just permanently has that Firefall ad on it. A game that I don't even think is a thing anymore now. And that's just like an old thing. I don't know why I remember that detail, but I watched a video about that not too long ago, and it like he's an absolute joke, and he's been scamming people for a very long time. But much like Donald Trump, he has a cult of personality around him where people are like, "Oh, Grummz is doing a new scam. We better support him." And if you wonder how that's possible, like, if any of you have ever heard of Ice Poseidon, That dude used to just crypto scam his own fans on live stream all day. He would say, oh, I'm going to scam more of you guys. And then he would say, all right, now buy this coin after he would buy it. And then all of his fans would buy it. And then he would sell all of his coin and say, all right, guys, good luck. And then they do it all over again the next day. And Ice Poseidon just did that for years straight, while like tens of thousands of people continued to like choose actively to get scammed by him over and over again. So if you ever wonder, like, how are people able to continue supporting someone like Grummz, remember that Ice Poseidon exists, and dozens of other figures like him exist.
That shit cost $3 million. He purchased not one, not two, but 3 red epic dragons for his Red 5 Studios. This is a video production arm that's completely unnecessary for a video game developer. And my rough calculation is that including inflation, that is 40 to 50 grand per camera in modern day money. 150 grand on cameras that are not fucking needed. You don't need to shoot 4K footage in 2013 to document your video game.
What did he
Red
want them
5
for?
employees describe Mark Kern as being prone to extended absences and having erratic, impulsive, and very disruptive leadership styles. Anyway, Firefall was an absolute flop because Mark Kern doesn't actually know how to make games at all. I don't think it's particularly controversial to hold the opinion that World of Warcraft succeeded despite this guy and all the time he did spend on his little side projects. Again, I have receipts for this. Anyway, in 2013, Mark was removed as CEO from Red 5 by the board of directors of the company. Let's start the scamming people out of their money counter, shall we? Kern founded the studio MEK Entertainment in 2014. He raised $1 million in seed funding for an Oculus Rift MMO. Guess what happened? You've got 3 attempts. Correct, he ran with the money. The game never
If there was ever a VR MMO, I would know about its existence. The instant I heard an Oculus Rift MMO, just shaking my head like, no, he did not make, nor could he ever make an Oculus Rift or any form of VR game MMO. That would be like revolutionary if anyone made it, much less Grummz. He is definitely not doing that.
existed. You know what did exist is a tax bill from the state of California for over $250,000 for 3 years that he never paid his taxes, and now they have a publicly viewable lien against him for this. This didn't stop him from founding another company called Crixer Labs. He's not the owner on paper though. That's actually a completely different family member, which I will get to. Mark, or whatever little pervert foot soldier of his that's watching this is all publicly accessible information from the Secretary of State.
I love the regular, like, directing just a little jab at whatever Grummz fan or Grummz himself that's watching the video. I love it. It just, because I'm pretty sure Grummz would watch a video like this. I feel like he's too much of a loser and probably has too massive of an ego not to watch a video about himself. And so he's definitely hearing what's being said.
California. This is all part of the Chamber of Commerce. This is all public register that will be kept on file until long after you are dust. Anyway, with Crixer Lab now up and running, he obviously got the itch again, and in 2016, he started crowdfunding a game called Ember, a spiritual successor to Firefall. He can't let that one go. That is his baby. He did an interview with a YouTuber in 2024 claiming about 600K has been raised so far for Ember. Guess where that shit is? It's DOA. There's no meaningful updates for any actual length of time. It's very haphazard. It's very obvious that he's neglecting this for his Twitter rants. It's a Discord purged of dissent and a subreddit full of people disappointed that he's gone down this absurd little culture war path. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty weeds for hours explaining what an awful game this is. There's other YouTubers that have. It's on the screen, just look at it. Our boy is planning to fundraise more, and he's calling this just a vertical slice, and he wants to do a Kickstarter one day. I've seen more coherent games out of weekend-long game jams. It's not slanderous, libelous, or any other kind of word to say that this man, Mark Edward Kern, head developer of Crixer Labs, is basically scamming people out of their money. It took him months to texture 3 models and give them each 3 frames of attack animation. There is no meaningful work being done on this game outside of reposting old AI-generated art, old commissioned art, and reposting old models that he had made 10 years ago. This man, all he does is log into the Discord, post, "This will be a great year for Ember," log off, start posting on Twitter while he deletes his old website and removes the ability to unsubscribe to long-suffering backers. There are people in there who are afraid that they're going to die before this game comes out, and they're desperate for just a taste of Firefall once again, and all he does is ignore them. You might be wondering if this guy doesn't work on his game and all he does is post.
It's so crazy how this guy just gets away with it every time, you know? Like, we're in the era of they just keep getting away with it, you know? They can't keep getting away with it, but they do every time. That's the era we're in. I don't know why, but it feels like everyone's decided to continuously reward the worst people who repeatedly engage in the worst behavior with the most support, and I don't know why. Like, one day there will be sociological and psychological studies and in-depth breakdowns and documentaries about this phenomenon. But for now, I genuinely could not tell you why people are going in the direction they are right now. They can't keep getting away with it! And it's not just Grummz. It's like Trump and all these, just across the board, all these chud figures who keep... I mean, look at the Tate brothers, who just literally got away with sex trafficking. They're now, like, safely in America after Trump saved them from their charges in Romania. The Tate brothers got rescued by Trump. They escaped all legal consequences of fucking sex trafficking, dude. I hear that Texas is trying to crack down on anime. I did a segment about that. I uploaded it the other day. You should check it out. Anyway, I feel like we've seen enough of this video because, honestly, if I hear anything else about Grummz, my blood might start to actually boil to a high enough blood pressure that I might actually have a stroke on stream. So, that aside, I want to say, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, and or enjoyable in any way, then please consider leaving a like and a comment. Every single thumbs up and every single comment does an immense amount to help the channel, as does subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications. Don't forget that because we did not watch the whole video, that's just not what I do here with my reactions, the original video in its entirety can be found down below in the description, pinned right at the top of said description. So go ahead and click that link, go leave a view, go leave a like, go leave a comment, maybe subscribe to them if you want to. That video, from what I can tell, is pretty high quality, and it gave me the perfect platform to just rant about how much I hate Grummz from. So thank you to everybody who recommended that topic, or I guess I should say that segment. And if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. On top of that, if you want to see way more of me, you should go to my fan Discord. That is the main place that I have, like, the hub of my community and fan base. I actually host gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, and movie nights there, as well as announcing all my new uploads and streams. So if YouTube bugs out and doesn't tell you, you can at least rely on the Discord. Make sure you join it if you haven't already. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, if you can afford it and you feel like it, you can support me through a donation or a subscription or a sub gifted to someone else on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or you can support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or if you can afford it and you feel like it and you want to, you can buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. I have made some pretty fun merch designs, so even if you don't plan to get one, it's worth checking them out just so you know what they look like. Regardless though, thank you all for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good one.